This is Brooke's Buzz, where I talk about reality stars that we know and love in the media, what they got going on, and then I do a little recap of what's going on over at TLC and Bravo, and mainly those. Keep you up to date if you don't have time, like me, to spend on hours of 90 Day Fiance.
And I'm her husband, Jarrett. We have a podcast, The People's Rose. You can get full episodes of The People's Rose on any podcasting platform that you prefer, or you could just watch Brooks Buzz here on YouTube. You can follow us on social media at The People's Rose on most social media sites. And if you like it, please subscribe. But now it's time for Brooks Buzz. Brooke, what do you got for us this week?
Oh my gosh, I have so much because I actually caught all the way up to 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days.
Okay.
And when I say caught up, Sunday was the finale.
Yeah.
So I've watched it all. So we should just start there. Honestly, it was a tough watch. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
I suffered and powered through.
Yeah.
For you guys, but also I guess for myself too.
Yeah.
Mostly for myself. So, basically we have Gino and Jasmine who have been on the franchise for a while now.
Okay.
And they are just incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Like, they will just throw F-bombs at each other at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And at the very last scene, well, not the very last, before the very last, they had this big blow-up fight, and she was like, and I have a video of me effing my ex from 1 month ago. Do you want to see it? And he was just like, okay, go F your ex, basically.
Yeah.
It just is extremely volatile.
Yeah.
But word on the street is that she, and this is what they talked about through the whole season, but is that now he applied for the K-1 visa in the U.S. and she will be coming to the U.S. for the next season of 90 Day Fiance. They'll be following.
So this
them.
was the other way that you were watching?
No, this was before the 90 days.
Okay, gotcha.
So they hadn't gotten the visa yet.
Okay, gotcha.
So, looks like we're going to still continue to see some of them.
Okay.
We also, their whole storyline also revolved around their sex life. Sorry, this might be getting out of PG territory.
You don't have to do that warning anymore. It's fine.
Okay. But they were, that the whole season, revolved around that. And I don't want to know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a tough watch, but, we made it through. Then we have Sheila and David, okay? This is by far my favorite couple.
Yeah.
David's from the U.S. Sheila lives in the Philippines. David is deaf, and Sheila has a hearing aid, and they met on a chat room for people who are, I forgot what they called it.
Hearing impaired?
Yeah, I guess hearing impaired. And so yeah, he traveled to the Philippines to go meet her for the first time. And they just were very sweet to each other. They kept calling each other honey babe, which I thought was so cute. And I'll probably be calling you honey babe now.
You have already.
And it was a little, at first I was like, she didn't really know sign language, so it was a little...
She didn't know American Sign Language.
But she also didn't know, Filipino sign language.
Well, it wouldn't make a difference.
Right, but I'm just saying she didn't know sign language.
Okay.
And so, she had been practicing some. So anyway, he went over there. They were communicating through the phone. It was a little bit awkward. Something. Okay, so they did end up getting a translator, which was cool. The translator really helped a lot. But then there was a really bad tragedy.
Yeah.
Which really was very tough.
Yeah.
basically he went to go visit her house where she lives, where she grew up, and it was extreme poverty. Like nothing you would see here in the US. They were sleeping on the floor. The stairs to the second floor were very shaky. It just was really rough. No running water, no kitchen, no bathroom.
Yeah.
And literally the night that they went to her house, there was a terrible accident and her mom fell from the second story and passed away.
Yeah.
So they had just met for the first time, and they went through this horrible tragedy together. But I thought that from my perspective, I thought David did a really good job of being there for her.
Good.
I felt like they have some very different traditions when it comes to death and dying and funerals and things like that. And, he just supported her through it all.
That's good.
They ended up getting engaged. Okay. And so hopefully her and her son will be moving to the U.S. And eventually the translator left, and David was like, I'm kind of annoyed that she's not using sign language more. Like, I thought she would have known more and would have, like, practiced. And once the translator left, he was like, come on, like, you can do sign language. And she was like, sorry, like, I've just been kind of shy. And then she did start using sign language more, and she really did know a lot more than maybe she had, like, portrayed in the beginning. So I think that she did know more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I loved them. I'm rooting for them. If she comes over here and something bad happens, I'll be devastated. But hopefully it works out. Then we have Riley and Violet, who Riley is from the U.S. Violet is from Vietnam. It's extremely toxic. At the very end, Violet says that she's pregnant with Riley's baby in Vietnam. We didn't even know that they had, like, taken their relationship to that level, which for TLC, we sure knew about that with everybody else.
Right.
So then Riley's like, oh, yeah, well, it did happen, like, one night, the final night I was there.
Yeah, sure.
But then he goes on to say, but I was on this medication that when you're on it, there's only a 1% chance that you can get pregnant. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about. Sounds weird to me, but whatever. Anyway, everyone thinks that she's faking, and it's not true.
Oh, is this okay, got it.
Yeah. But that's hopefully on the tell-all, we'll get some answers.
Gotcha.
And then we have Rosvin and Amanda. Oh, gosh. See, all of these are just tough. She had her husband passed away, and this is her first relationship post-husband.
Yeah.
And so that's really hard it's hard.
Right.
And I saw this TikTok, and this girl had done a deep dive, and she's like, I think it's only at this point, like at the point that she's traveling to see him, I think it's only been like 4 months since the passing of her husband. So, I mean, everyone's on their own timeline,
right,
but it's just tough.
Right.
It's a toughie.
Right.
So there's that. I think we'll see them again because he had already like gotten a travel visa for the U.S. So I definitely think we'll see them again. They're also both very attractive people, and I know TLC likes to have the attractive people.
Makes sense.
Or the like very odd looking couples.
Yeah.
So. Okay, and then we also got to see Tyree. Remember I talked about Tyree? We got to see Tyree meet Carmela, okay? Now, I don't think Carmela is her real name. Can't recall what her real name is, but what ended up happening...
Wait, so Tyree met the person who's pretending to be Carmela, or the person that the pictures the person pretending to be Carmela
The
used.
pictures that the person pretending to be Carmela
Right.
used.
So he didn't meet Carmela. He didn't meet his catfish. He just met some random lady.
Who was an escort.
Okay.
So they discovered that she was an escort, and so then they reached out to her.
Yeah.
And then they planned this meetup. TLC gave him some airfare to go visit her. And I actually, when he was talking to her, he seemed very comfortable and open, which he had never, with like even his family, like he had never done that before. And she was a little bit like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like,
Yeah, well, I don't
it
understand why they did
definitely
that.
wasn't me. But he did ask, like, were you involved in any way? Because in his Delulu brain, he was thinking maybe, like, she was, maybe, like, this guy, maybe Christian was her pimp.
Okay.
And so, or he had this other theory that, like, maybe she was in jail and Christian was
relaying the messages.
Yeah. So,
oh
yeah, you know, he was just, but I think after he met her, he really was like, oh.
They just picked someone's random pictures.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There may be a couple I'm forgetting about, but those were like the standouts.
I gotcha.
Okay, so then we have, Clayton Echard. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that, but I thought it was just some rando. I saw it, the headlines about it, but I was just like, this. I mean, anyone could say that at any point in time. I didn't know it was a thing. Is it a thing?
Yeah.
How so?
It's his ex, and they hooked up in like May, and now she's pregnant.
Clayton
with
went from
twins.
You remember his season? He was like, "Oh, I'm not going to. I don't want to get involved with all these women." And this is like the third woman that we know of him hooking up with.
Wait,
publicly.
was he the one that was like, "I'm not having sex in the"? Who was that? Oh, that was other guy.
I guess that was the other guy.
Yeah, Clayton was the one who was intimate with everyone, right?
No, Clayton was the one who he had the two with Gabby and Hannah, and then when it got to Susie, she asked him if he was intimate with, and he was like, "Oh yeah." So I take that back. He didn't care.
And then Susie left, and then they got together, right? Because the other girls were like, "Bye."
Right.
Yeah. Well, him and Susie have broken up long since, and yeah, I think it's true.
Why?
I have because E! News posted about it, and E! News and people, they post true stories.
That's not.
Yes, it is. It is.
Right, but did they say that it was his or she alleges? Because that's a totally different thing.
Okay.
You can post any allegation.
Okay, but like, there's probably people who have not millions, but tons of people who have alleged that Tristan Thompson is their baby daddy, and
well, that's likely. With
right,
Tristan.
But what I'm saying is, like, the ones that he actually is, they get the story.
That's all I'm saying. Is the base? I'm just asking. Is the only reason you think it is because you saw the story?
Yeah, on E! News, which is a reputable site.
All right, cool.
But I also think, I definitely think it's true. Why do you not think it's true?
Because I didn't even know I hadn't thought about Clayton Echard.
Okay, got it.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who these people are. You could tell me that she's a blue alien, and I would have to be like, I guess I've never seen her. I don't even know her name.
What? I don't either, but
that's my point.
Okay, well, moving on to the Housewives. So, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I did start it. The new season has started. I was like so skeptical. Oh, Jen Shaw's not there. I don't even know if it's going to be good. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, the producers. Why I even doubted them, I don't know. Of course, they found somebody, a new cast member, who not only was friends with Jen Shaw and did some, quote, she helped her with some work, ended up being a witness against her at her federal trial.
Right.
So, of course, the producers found her and said, we want you, we need you. And already, episode 1, she's giving tons of content. Also found out in episode 1 that she was excommunicated from the Mormon church for having an 18-month-long affair with her brother-in-law. Her husband's sister's husband.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's giving a lot of content.
Yeah, it was funny. She did have a little shady line where she was like, oh, I've worked with Jen Shaw, and working with Jen Shaw has really opened me up to a lot of new learning opportunities, like how the federal criminal justice system works.
Okay, that was Angie, but yes,
so
she
that
did
wasn't
say
her?
that. No.
Oh, okay.
That was, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then Mary Ann Cosby is back. Remember her?
Is she a cast member or a guest?
She's a guest, but she's been on almost every episode, which is, it's a lot.
Man, Cosby or Crosby? Cosby, right?
I thought it was Cosby, but I don't know.
No, I think it's Cosby. When she first got on the show, it was like, wow, she's crazy. This energy's crazy. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know if she fits the vibe anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, I have not watched more than 2 seconds of her on the show. But when I saw her, it truly just more like deranged, crazy lady on TV.
Wow.
And less like, whoa, this is must-see TV. It was more like, okay, are we doing this again? That's what I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, like, I'll agree. Like, it feels exploitative, but it also just feels like she's her own person.
Yeah.
Like, she's just kind of like, I don't care. Like, in one episode, they were having a snowball fight, and she was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no.
Whereas other people are like, oh, I have to do this for the show, and sometimes it's not even worth it.
No, I hear you. Okay.
So, I don't know. We might get some good stuff from her. Oh my gosh. Okay, then we have to talk about Shannon Storms Bedore and her DUI. Have you seen that?
What show are we talking about?
Real Housewives of Orange County.
Okay, go ahead.
You know Shannon, one of the Tres Amigos?
Sure, yeah.
She, over the weekend, so this is very recent, had a hit and run. She ran into a house, somebody's house.
And she fled the scene?
And she fled the scene. And there was a Ring camera right there that caught it all. And so, yeah, they know it was her.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because this season, this recent season, we are resurfacing an old story about how Gina, another cast member, got a DUI, and Shannon called some attorney to come help her. And Shannon was talking about, if I wouldn't have done that, she would have gotten her kids taken away and put in CPS. And this is like a whole, like coming up again.
So this happened not on the show, just in real life this past weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Like real time. And so now it's kind of just like, okay, Shannon, how are you gonna get out of this one? You gonna own up to it? I mean, we all saw it. We all saw the Ring camera footage.
Right.
So, I don't know how that's gonna go. And speaking of, the Tres Amigas are back. Shannon, Vicky.
Vicky's a guest on the show, though, right?
Yes. And Tamara. And I don't know. They're just a little bit annoying. I kind of like it. I'm all for, like, branding yourself, right? Like, this is our thing. Yeah, like, I get it. But I'm not. It's just, they're kind of childish a little bit. And then, I mean, I guess that's it. Real Housewives of Atlanta, they had the reunion. There wasn't anything too crazy.
No fireworks?
Nothing, no.
Okay.
So, I think that's all I got today.
All right. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Another great segment from Brooks Buzz. Really got a nice download in the finale of it was before the 90 days, right?
Mhm.
And Real Housewives. So we'll be excited to get back more into the Bravo sphere and learn all about, I guess, Salt Lake City as it's going
Mhm.
on.